Hey guys, welcome to Southern Law Shade Tree Forensics. Yesterday, there was testimony in the Murdaugh case angling to establish that the shooter was 5'2", which rules out Alex Murdaugh even barefoot. Does the hypothesis of a sawed-off slayer match reality? Is the theory of a compact killer not only likely, but so probable it excludes anyone but a half-pint hitman or woman? Let's check it out. There's 2 shots at issue, and the expert gave his measurements for each, so we can replicate that. The doghouse shot, which was shooting at a downward angle, pretty sharp. At a distance of 8.4 feet away, the muzzle height of the weapon was 30 inches. From 13 feet away, it's 47.4 inches, so you can imagine the line traveling away from the doghouse is going up pretty sharply, so it's a quite an angle down. The quail pin shot was slightly upward. At a distance of 33 feet, the muzzle height would be 39.6 inches, and 43 feet, 36.5. A lot less of a difference there because the incline is so much different. But again, this shot is slightly angled up. Let's check out our jig then. You can see the heights marked. The quail pin is represented by one stick and the doghouse the other. Since we don't know which shot was first, we'll do the sequence both ways and assume a right-handed shooter. I will not only use the actual measurements, but since I'm about 6 feet, Murdaugh purports to be about 6'3", I will try the same movements 3 inches lower to simulate the height difference. My working theory was that you did not have to be so short to make these shots, but let's see what it looks like. So we're starting with the quail pin shot first, the highest shots, and then I move to the lower end of that. And to me, not difficult at all at 6 feet, but I'm going to try it a few inches lower to simulate Murdaugh's height. So about 3 inches lower. Yeah, I can still shoot up a little bit there, and obviously shoot down. None of that is a problem. Now let's switch to the doghouse. I can shoulder here if I want to, easily make this shot. And then I can put the gun in a slightly upward angle without even really taking any steps. It's just not hard to do. Of course, it's much easier to shoot these lower shots because you can hip shot that. Again, about 6 feet tall, hip shot. You can see I can change the angle there. I'm not struggling to handle the gun at all. And then, nor here with a slightly upward trajectory. And of course you can bend your knees more, which I'll do when I simulate Murdaugh, which is about 3 inches lower. So here we are, 3 inches lower to the doghouse, no problem. See, I can change the angles. I mean, come on. And then fire to the quail house and up. That is slightly up. Here's a straight on view down at the doghouse and then up to the quail, the lower end of the range. See, it's not hard to move this angle around. And then a little bit of an upward trajectory slightly there. Not that hard. Murdaugh simulation, about 3 inches from the lowest possible range, which isn't necessarily how low it was. Now, from the knee, the high shot, that's impractical. You're not going to do that. But on the lower ends of the range, it very possibly could be taking a knee and making both shots, right? I mean, how hard is that? So while the expert ended his testimony saying that under the context of what Harpootlian was saying, it could not have been Murdaugh. Earlier in his testimony, he had said, shooter could take different positions and things like that. It doesn't have to be a 5'2" person, and it definitely does not have to be one. I mean, I showed you these shots here. Let's be realistic. It does not have to be a 5'2" ninja, and I say that because not only is the 5'2" eyebrow raising, okay, while it would exonerate Murdaugh, it should make you chuckle a little bit. Think about this ninja because they had to have shown up in the roughly 2 minutes or so when Murdaugh would have left after the Snapchat video. This is assuming he left, and the cell phones went dormant. He has to leave in that 2.5 minutes, get back to the house and get inside of it before the deadly assassin, a diminutive deadly assassin, strikes and kills the 2 victims and their cell phones go dormant. Or you have to believe that Murdaugh goes back up to the house, gets this quick nap in or whatever, and leaves at 9:06. Then the deadly assassins show up and do the work. But in that situation, you have to believe that both the mother and the son stopped engaging in cell phone conversations and text and answering people with conversations that have been ongoing, both at the same time, never to be heard from again. I don't buy that. I think when their phones went dormant, is pretty much a marker of when something happened. And Murdaugh was there only 2 minutes before, and it's unrealistic for me to think that he made it back to the house, got inside, and then the deadly assassin springs out of the woods, goes to work. I just don't buy that. So I think they do have the right guy. Granted, the state's case has been somewhat disjointed. And you also have to think these ninjas either happened to use the exact same type of weapons that Murdaugh had, or the ninjas got there and were able to seize the weapons and do this work in this extremely tight time frame. And I don't buy that either. I think this defense would have been better just attacking the state's case than coming up with this 5'2" theory. It's about as silly to me as the theory that you cannot throw a cell phone out of a car off the side of the road. But people can believe it. So you just got to get at least one person on the jury to buy it, if not all 12, to prevent a verdict. So let's see what happens in the trial today. Thanks. Bye.